Buckle up, space travelers. It's time to go live on S4 with Eric Cooper. Prepare to go to the edge.
3 years. Over 1,000 followers. 30,000 downloads in the archives. Welcome to S4.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to S4, the official radio broadcast of Forest Moon Paranormal, with host Eric Cooper and our panel of enlightened minds. Coming to you live from FMP headquarters located in the heart of Skagit Valley, Washington, at the base of the majestic North Cascade Mountains. We will take you through a journey of exploration as we examine every aspect of the metaphysical. From spirits, UFOs, Bigfoot, and conspiracies, to grounding, protection, astral travel, and everything in between, leaving you with a better understanding and comprehension of the world around you, and the entities that inhabit it.
Join us every Saturday night at Spreaker.com and locally on KSVU 90.1. Don't forget to check out our new webpage at www.s-4radio.com.
Now sit back, open your mind, get ready, because this is S4.
Good evening or morning, depending where you are, and welcome to S4, the voice of Forest Moon Paranormal, coming to you live from FMP headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains in Concrete, Washington. FMP is a highly accurate emergency response team for all aspects of the paranormal, from aggressive hauntings to alien interaction, Bigfoot and other cryptids, and everything in between is terrifying. S4 is the voice where we discuss these things in detail. Not only can you find S4 right here on Spreaker, but for our local listeners, also on KSVU 90.1 FM from 10 to 12 p.m. Saturdays with pre-recorded shows. So, it's our favorite time of the month. Tonight, it's the 27th of July, and you know what that means. It's time for Roundtable. This is where our team kicks back. We look at the current situation in both the world and the world of the paranormal, and we ask questions that we've been thinking of for our team to discuss and pick apart. So kick back. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat room as usual. Tonight with us, we have Cole Wig-Leitner, our technical analyst, Kayla Wig-Leitner, one of our research specialists and junior team leader, Francie Miller, our team psych therapist, Chris and Brett Dodge from the FMP Extended Care and Astral team, R. Keith Andrews, our alien race specialist, and Christina George from Paranormal Connections and Top Secret News. And she'll be right back with us. She had an emergency to jump into to take care of. How's everyone doing tonight?
Awesome.
I'm still breathing. Yeah.
Doing good.
Excellent. So, it's kind of an exciting year because, you know, we actually talked about going in the Skagit County Fair last year. It never happened. I think we even talked about it the year before. Well, this year, we're actually making it into the fair. So, if you're local, look for us at the Skagit County Fair. Just look for the FMP booth. You can get
August 7th to 10. 10 to 10.
Say again?
August 7th to 10.
Yep.
10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Which means for our S4 listeners, there will be no show on August 10th because we will be at the fair. And we have to be there till 10 p.m. That gives us an hour to get back home, get the studio set up, and we can't do it at the fair. So we're just going to cancel for that week. And we got Craig in the chat room. Glad to see you, Craig. You ate some nibs. I'm not sure. I think you mean ribs. I'm not sure.
No, nibs are like Twizzlers cut up into little bite-sized pieces.
Oh, yeah. I got you. And hey, PBR Street Gang's in. All right. Awesome. So, there's so much going on. I want to say right now, too, August is the month that we're going to pick apart the paranormal. Meaning, so there's 3,800, 5,000. I have no idea how many anymore. Teams come, teams go, as I can see. So in the paranormalsociety.com, there's like 3,800 groups listed in the United States alone. And you go state by state by state, which I'm doing now. I think I'm in... Oh, wait. I'm up to Florida. Yeah, I haven't started Florida yet. So I'm sending them each a message about Paracon, about S4. Is your team active? And out of, I don't know, I've probably sent about 300 emails. I've got maybe 20 emails back. Because most of them are dead links. There's no website. The website's down. The Facebook's down. If your team's not active anymore, how about you take it off your listing so that people that need help, they don't get frustrated looking for your group that's not there. It just makes too much sense, I guess.
Well, isn't there some sort of a body that has a supposedly active listing of all of them?
No, there's nobody on that site that checks them all. And there's Joe. I tried to call you in, Joe, but the number didn't go through on Skype. So I tried. But you're in the chat room. That's what matters. So we're going to make August the month of what's it take to be in the paranormal. So the first Saturday of the month, August 3rd, we're going to talk about paranormal emergencies. And is protection important? And that's Chris's pet peeve. Is protection important in the paranormal, Chris?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Get me going.
And 99% of the teams out there say, protection from what? We don't need no damn protection. Yeah, okay, so that's why you get hurt when you go on an investigation or you come home with an attachment, whatever.
No, that doesn't happen to them. Just ask.
Right. So it's going to be interesting because Roundtable next month, I'm going to go to 5 different teams that we've never talked to before. And we're going to pull one member from 5 different teams and use them for Roundtable. It'll be something
That'll
different.
Be interesting.
It won't it? It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. And of course, we got Paracon coming up September. So if you haven't found Paracon yet, www.fmparacon.com. You can find all the information on the speakers, on tickets, on vendors. Everything's right there. So let's get this ball rolling. Kayla, you're the newbie in the group tonight. What's your first question?
Okay. So I was watching a couple of different documentaries and a whole bunch of stuff about crop circles came up. And it said that the crop circles have been growing, like the sightings of crop circles, since the late 1970s and on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if any of you think that has anything to do with us sending the Pioneer plaque up in 1972.
What's your thoughts, Keith?
No. I mean, I'm not debating whether the Pioneer plaque was set up, but what's been happening and what's been increasing it is there's been a lot more through traffic going through here. Through this sector. And because of the position that Sol 4 holds, on the travel runs, it's easier to set the markers on this planet than it is any of the rest of them.
Ah, markers. I got you. And that makes sense. I was thinking global warming, but yeah, no.
Yeah, global warming happens when the crop circles.
Oh. And what's funny, you don't hear about crop circles in the States or in North America. They're all in Europe. At least the ones in the media you see are all in Europe, mostly in England.
That's because there's never any parking anywhere in America.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe you guys don't allow drones anywhere anymore out there.
And maybe that's why, because they don't want the cropsicle scene, amongst other things.
No, the reality of it is much more to the point that because of the fact that there is so much activity, this is why I tell people when they talk about this planet being quarantined, I'm going, if it were quarantined, we wouldn't have as many ships coming by. And you certainly wouldn't be dealing with the number of abductions.
Right, this is true. Who said the planet was quarantined?
I've had a lot of people tell me that this planet has been quarantined.
Humans?
Well, yeah, not the off-worlders. They keep looking at it going, what do you mean quarantined?
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. But what do humans know? I mean...
I have been racking my brain for the answer to that one, but that takes us way off track from the crop circle.
Well, yeah, that's my point. The humans wouldn't know if our planet was quarantined or not. I would take it like you do, straight from the off-worlders. That's why I asked you. Somebody that actually talks to off-worlders versus somebody that goes by a researcher that's got no clue. Just saying, And yeah, we all know 29. Go say again.
Well, I was just thinking, I was shown a crop circle just a couple of months ago. And I took one look at it, and the person asked me, they said, what is this for? And I looked at him, and I said, telling you about a jump point.
So, I guess my question to expound on that, how come they seem to be getting more explicit? They, more graphic. They're getting more detailed.
Well, there's two reasons for it. One, you got to take into consideration what the crop circles are for.
Right, they're markers.
Okay. Well, they are markers, but the things like indicating jump points, indicating where, I was going to say indicating where, where a FMP Paracon was going to be, but they'll figure that one out.
Oh, hands down.
They already have before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so basically...
The reality is that there's a lot more information because as they've been going along, they've been getting better at figuring out how the terrain around here will hold a sign for how long. Right.
Before the combines come down and take it down?
Basically, yes. Of course, there's that neat little question the off-worlders keep asking. You guys want proof, and yet you keep trying to bury it. What gives?
Right. I would agree with that. All right. Let's see here. So, Francie, what do you think about crop circles?
I don't know. I'm interested in them, but I don't know that much about them.
Do you guys get them in Idaho too often?
What?
Do you guys get them in Idaho very often?
I've never heard of any here. I mean, up here in North Idaho, we don't. It's mostly forest industry, that kind of stuff. It's not like the big agriculture like it is down in the southern part of the state. I've not heard of any.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's face it. If you start making crop circles in forests, it's going to be pretty obvious.
Right.
Has there ever been any indication of that?
As far as
just
forest?
Has anyone ever heard of a large area of forest, just all the trees are down and in a certain pattern?
There was impact. Yeah, I'm thinking like meteors or like big impact kind of things, maybe. And Mount St. Helens.
No, I'm talking about for no scientific reason.
Not that I personally have ever heard of.
Yeah,
no?
Me neither.
Well, they would hush that up though real quick.
Yeah, they'd log it.
Yeah, all the evidence away.
Yeah. They'd hush it up and come up with an explanation for it.
Personally, I'd like to see them come up with one that held any water.
Well, they never do. And that brings up conspiracy theories.
Weather
balloon. That's why I said I'd like to hear it.
Right. So, Francie, what's your first question tonight? We don't get you out here too often.
Well, I've got a doozy for you.
All right.
Do you think that counselors or other professionals like energy workers, professional folks who provide specialty care for people who are they've been abductees, right? So they treat and help people that are abductees. Is it possible for the counselor or the professional to experience like an alien presence around their home, for being involved with the person that they're trying to help? Is it possible that they could get some sort of fallout or ET blowback because they were trying to help the person?
I'm going to take that in a twofold manner. One, if it's a my lab, definitely. My lab's for sure, because you're going to have government involvement. And they're going to be probably observed. They might even be bugged, followed, things of that nature. So it depends on, and I think Keith would agree, it also depends on the race involved. If it's not a my lab, it's just a general alien abduction. Depends on the race that's involved and what their motive for the abduction is.
Yeah, I mean, the odds of it happening, essentially you're correct. If it's my lab, you can bet your bottom dollar there'll be blowback. Mm-hmm. But it's very rare for off-worlders to expand their search into the neighbor's house.
Right.
Right. I mean, technically, because of the way you asked it, the answer would be yes. It's technically possible. Yeah, it's technically possible the sun may rise in the west tomorrow.
No.
But the reality is they don't.
Is there anything that a person that is working with folks like that could do to safeguard themselves against that? Can you protect against that kind of thing or not?
Well, in all fairness, from my experience, not. I mean, they're not in danger anyway. Like counselors and psychologists and what have you that are trying to help people that have been abducted, they really don't have any more of a threat to themselves than they did before they treated the person.
No. I would have to say, jumping back on the MyLab, a MyLab abductee is not going to seek help out of fear of reprisal and out of fear of, because 9 out of 10 of them know what's going on. They've been threatened by the government. They've been threatened by those particular races as well. They're not going to seek help. So you don't have to worry so much about the MyLab. The abductee probably doesn't know what's going on. It's going to be up to the counselor to figure that out. And most counselors, as you know, you being the exception, have no idea what alien abduction looks like.
No, and the sad part is, even the ones that claim to work in the field, and I know present company excluded, but so many of the ones that claim to work in that field make the abductee feel like they're completely off the nut before they even get the door open.
That's true and unfortunate.
The other part on the aspect of the counselor is knowing the difference between childhood trauma, drug addiction, and abduction, because there's a lot of similarities in those areas. Knowing what the patterns of the abduction is and looking for the key points of the patterns in comparison to, say, childhood trauma are important to know and important to identify.
One big crossover would be lost time, right? You have lost time in both.
So, yeah, there can be lost time, there can be marks, there can be screen memories. Screen memories not from the aliens, but screen memories from the childhood trauma, the mind trying to protect the memories, if that makes sense. So,
well, it makes total sense, but of course, I'm not necessarily a good gauge.
So, yeah, there is a lot of crossover between both, between the childhood trauma and the abduction. But no, okay, so getting back to the question, though, is there a threat to the counselor? Not really. What you could look for would be tones, could be humming, could be marks, implant marks that you might receive, things of that nature. Just a feeling of being watched or followed.
But the thing to be careful of is that the moment you start looking for that sort of thing, especially in that field, sad to say, but you can start thinking you're seeing it when there's nothing there to see.
Right.
Yeah.
But being a therapist as well, you would know that.
Well, I know I've talked to some therapists that really questioned how they got their degree.
Right.
Me too.
Right.
But no, the reality is I just don't see it. From everything I know about it, you just don't have to worry about what you call blowback happening. Not from them.
No.
Okay.
More from the human aspect.
Right.
Yeah, you'll get more blowback from the people that find out that you're treating somebody that is claiming to have that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good point. Because society's interpretation of abduction and paranormal in general still isn't open enough to even discuss it from a therapy point of view. Because even looking at you as a therapist, they'd say, "Oh, you're treating those crazy people," and that's just sad reality. Whether we have paranormal TV or not, or whether the government's coming out talking about UFOs and whatnot or not, you're still going to have a lot of people, especially in the conservative areas, that aren't accepting of it and won't be.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. I just actually started seeing I might as well come and say I'm seeing a counselor, and I actually got to talking a little bit, of course, about the group, and come to find out he actually is a, I guess you could say a Ghostbuster too, because he kind of, he passed the spirits, try to talk to them and find out why they're stuck and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, pretty cool.
That's quite a find.
Pardon? Pardon?
I said that is quite a find.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah. I felt drawn to him, and I guess that's why.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
All right.
Okay.
So, Brent, what's your first question tonight?
Oh, he's not here. Crap. Well, Chris has hers. She can go next.
All right, Chris.
That's okay. You'll pay for that one later, Brent.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so my question is answer and why. Which do you think will come to full disclosure first? Aliens or Bigfoot?
Okay, now you threw me for a loop. To be honest with you, I think, I'm kind of torn on that. Bigfoot's talked about a lot more. I mean, we have a Bigfoot conference coming up here in Marble Mount, I believe, end of August, which is a new one. And they just had, and Mike Morin from the Haunted Crew of Canada actually just tagged me in a video where a native child got within 100 yards of a Bigfoot. And Bigfoot's always been on the forefront of everyone's mind, especially in this area. But the government's talking about aliens a lot more. So which one's it going to go? That's, flip a coin. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that. Flip a coin. Because it can go either way.
The biggest problem I have with the whole thing is I still haven't figured out what humans call full disclosure.
Well, and that's a good point. To me, full disclosure is simply President Trump steps up and says, yes, aliens are here. They've been here for a very long time. And the government's been working with them. That, to me, is full disclosure. Nothing more, nothing less.
Please tell me you're not hoping he's going to do that.
No, I don't think he will. That's why I don't think...
He's going to tweet about it.
Yeah. I don't think full disclosure is going to happen. That's just my opinion.
See, I'm a firm believer it's already happened.
Well, yeah. But I'm talking the full disclosure that people label as full disclosure.
Well, that's where my biggest problem is with it.
What's that?
Understanding what people are calling full disclosure. I mean, we've got monuments up, we've got laws passed in cities. I mean, how much more do you need? What confuses the daylights out of me is why people that continually complain that the government lies to them, why they're waiting for the government to come out and be honest.
Well, even when the government does come out and say, yes, aliens are here, they're going to call it fake news and lies anyway. So what's the matter?
Exactly. The law says how full disclosure can happen.
No.
I guess what I'm getting at is when more people actually really believe it.
Oh, give it 100 years.
I don't want to hear Trump say it. I could care less what he thinks. But Yeah, when more people actually believe it and talk about it. There's so many people now that you can talk Bigfoot to and aliens to, and they're like, nah, that doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking when the actual belief is out there.
Well, you actually get that even in the paranormal community. And I've said that on the show before, that you can go to a ghost hunting group and talk about aliens, and they'll scoff at you and say aliens don't exist. But, we saw a spirit. So wait a minute. So you can believe in spirits, you can believe in Bigfoot, but aliens don't exist? Or you can believe in aliens, but Bigfoot and spirits don't exist? I mean, you've got the infighting in the paranormal community alone, let alone
Lord, yeah.
let alone from the normal people that don't believe anything. And I guess my where I get mad is I was trying to put this in words, but what pisses me off is the ones that say disclosure is they're going to bring free energy. No, they're not. They will never bring free energy. They'll never bring alien technology to the forefront. Never. Because the minute they do, you're going to shut down the oil industry. I would love to have the oil industry shut down and have free energy, but it's not going to happen because it's a multi-billion dollar industry.
Well, there's an even bigger problem with that. You wipe out the oil industry, and all of a sudden, everything that you guys are using, including the computers we work with,
right,
cease to exist. I mean, the reality is there is a massive economic problem with shutting down any one of the main industries overnight.
And I agree. But that's where it comes down to full disclosure. And it's not full disclosure. It's never going to happen.
Sure will, in about 100 years or so.
I know I can't see it, Keith. I honestly don't think that we as humans could ever accept fully, as a full human race, that all this exists. I don't think.
Good news there is you're mistaken.
Because we don't believe in even our own people.
Oh, heck.
We don't believe each other.
3/4 of the population doesn't believe that the people of different color on this planet are the same race.
Exactly.
But the reality is that there are so many things that mankind has said are impossible. They can't, it'll never happen. That have turned around and happened. Not the least of which is most obvious.
But people usually don't change their minds unless there's a crisis.
That's true.
Or they start to die out and
that's a crisis.
Not always. Not always.
True.
It just depends. I mean, it's a crisis if the pilot passes away while he's still flying. Then it's a crisis.
No, I'll take over. I can fly, I just can't land.
Oh. Okay, you know what? Let's jump over to Keith. Keith, what's your first question tonight?
Well, I was playing around with that, but I'm going to go completely sideways on you here.
Okay.
And ask you what you think of the whole concept of the other thing that mankind is trying to build. What you figure the ramifications of actually releasing true AI.
Oh, God, you had to go there.
Oh, my.
You're
Skynet.
Well, you know
We're
what?
all going to die.
Yeah, the minute you start talking AI, I think Terminator. I think iRobot. I think it's already here. I think it's not going to get to that extent for another 100 years. So 100 years from now is going to be really awful because it's going to bring full disclosure and AI.
Okay, but we as humans, we are honestly at this point destroyers. So anything that we build and teach is also going to learn that trait. I honestly don't know if they're going to destroy us or themselves before they get to us.
Well, think of the killer bee and figure that one out.
Explain that, please.
Well, it's a brilliant idea that they could make a better honeybee than what nature did. Played around with genetics and turned around and tried combining the African bee, highly aggressive little territorial insect, and combining it with the North American honeybee. Net result, you ended up with the killer bees.
Oh.
Speaking of
I
which...
didn't know that was genetic. It is?
Absolutely. It was man-made genetic, yes.
Where are the killer bees today? You stopped hearing about them.
Texas.
Are they still in Texas? Because I thought they were migrating, but that was years ago I heard they were migrating.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them getting north of Texas. I know that they're still in Florida, and you get them periodically in Texas. But I think something happened as far as there was a shift off. I know there was a real push to have them sterilized, which might explain why there was a sudden absolute crash in the bee population overall.
And that was my next issue. So with genetic manipulation of bees, which make killer bees, is that why we had the bee disease and all that was eliminating the honeybees?
Quite frankly, I would lay odds on it, yeah. Trying to clean up a mess that never should have happened.
Yeah, and what many people don't get is we lose our bees, we lose human civilization.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you have to have bees to have pollination, to have food.
Oh, that's okay. They keep throwing the food away because they keep making too much of it that they don't want to give to the people that need it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah.
So, boy, that went really sideways off that topic, didn't it?
You're welcome to S4. Cole, what's your first question tonight?
Okay. So Kayla stole my first one.
In a way. Yeah, for telling her ahead of time.
Right?
Hey, he didn't.
So, okay, with last week you said current events, so I have to ask it. Okay. Area 51. With the Area 51 raid, if it actually becomes a full-blown bloodbath, how do you think the government will handle it? Because it has been an argument between me and Kayla of the idea of a cover-up.
Of course.
But how can they cover up 250... Because I imagine the number's not going to be the 1.8 million, but like 250,000 people getting shot. How do you cover that up?
It didn't happen. It was Area 51. Area 51 doesn't exist, so of course the 200,000 people just kind of decided.
So, I was just talking about that with somebody today, as a matter of fact. So we have technology, non-lethal technology, that they'll probably wind up using. Basically, it's microwave / sound technology that will make you crap yourself.
They used it at Standing Rock, didn't they?
Yeah. But this is technology. It's non-lethal. You're going to have a whole bunch of embarrassed people, about 250 million of them, 250,000 of them, 1.5 million of them, whatever.
In a million neighborhood.
Yeah. And they're going to be all kinds of embarrassed. And when they get asked what happened, they'll, it must have been something I ate and I got sick, so I had to leave. And it's going to happen to about, 200,000 of them, whatever. And hopefully there won't be a shot fired. So we can hope that, hearing this technology, it makes you, if there is shots fired, then you can question the government and the military. Why did you use lethal force when you could have used non-lethal? When we have the technology.
Oh, that's the easy one. Then that's when they turn around and go, well, it's easier to keep the corpses from talking if they're corpses.
You don't need to worry about them talking, though, if they're still on the extraterrestrial highway and not on Area 51's property.
Now, couldn't they just chalk it all up to an outside force, a different country, and say, hey, that's what happens when you have a gathering of that many people?
Well,
the one option. The other option, of course, is to use off-world technology, so you go, it wasn't us that did it, it was them.
Disclosure. There we go. It's happening in Area 51.
Or are they going to, is the government that's there going to hide everything and do their best to cover everything up, just put it in the bunker under there, and then say, yeah, come on in. We open the gates. Let us in. We'll let you in right now. Take a look. There's nothing here.
Well, and that's the thing. There's got to be something there, or they wouldn't be so panicky about 200 million, 2.5 million people, whatever it is, wanting to come and look at it. So there's got to be something. There's got to be something they cannot move. My question, too, has always been, what are they going to do when they get there? So you have 2.5 million people that are going to run across this desert and break onto Area 51. Okay. Hoorah. Have fun.
Someone should sell popcorn.
How are you going to get in the hangar? How are you going to get in S4, which is about 15 miles deeper into Groom Lake? It's all retina technology. It's secure technology. You're not going to get in there even if you do break onto Area 51. You're not going to find anything.
The other question I keep asking is much like yours, what are you going to do when you get there? But realistically, let's say they get over there and play devil's advocate. Let's say they prove that Area 51 has stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if anybody realizes the ramifications of that and the amount of panic that's going to cause.
No. No.
Well, okay, I want to expand my question. So this is for you, Keith. To your knowledge, do any off-worlders visit that area?
Yep.
Okay, so what, if any, do you think action they'll take?
They won't.
They'll just leave?
Well,
are they not?
Okay, I guess they will take some. The one thing they absolutely do with that kind of a mob coming in, yeah, they undoubtedly, if they were to actually get onto the area, you can bet if the off-worlders figured there was going to be a real problem down there, they come in, they would make everybody stop cold because they're going to get their own people out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I can't imagine them taking no action because they're the ones that people are coming to take.
That is precisely where it would go, where it would fall south.
Not to mention, you got to remember the consortium and the alien races that are here aren't here to. They're not going to interfere with human issues. 2.5 million people running into Area 51 is a human issue.
Yes, it is, but the side effect is a planetary one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is where they come in.
If they actually get in there and they run into one of them, then it becomes a planetary one.
Yeah, true.
See, here's the problem. What you would end up having, the first thing that the off-worlders would do if Area 51 came under direct attack is they would put a very concentrated EMP pulse and they would completely cripple Area 51. Nobody would be able to get in or out.
And Trippin's bringing up a good point. So one would think they would have rescued him by now. Do we have...
There is a trade-off of information going on.
I was about to say, we don't have any really against their will, do we, Keith?
Well, technically the answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay, the problem is, because of the fact that what they're doing in Area 51 is not a planetary threat, and fortunately humans are skittish enough about the stuff they do have that they're not releasing it to the general public. Even the stuff that's beneficial, they're edgy about. So, the information that is in Area 51, humans are not willingly releasing it to the world. Okay, and besides that, where it comes to the off-worlders that they do have in there, the humans that have got them have set up proper quarantine to avoid interplanetary illnesses.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, off-world disease.
Yes. Think of what happened to the Indian population when the Europeans got here.
Right.
That was from human standard, that was an aggressive illness. Some of the illnesses that these guys pick up with, the human body will not tolerate. I mean, for instance, most people have heard of the flesh-eating disease.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that takes months, sometimes years for that to really do any damage. Humans can handle it. I've seen some illnesses that these guys have, that when a human gets it, you get something like a flesh-eating disease that destroys your body in under a minute. You just don't have time for human technology to compensate.
And Craig's in the chat room. He says, it will not be a good day for the people raiding Area 51.
And unless they're suicidal, at which point it should work out rather well.
Well, I think there's 2.5 million people that are suicidal.
Aren't humans related to lemmings?
Oh, pretty much. 2.5 million of them are anyway. So, Francie, from a therapist perspective, when you look at 2.5 million people that want to break onto a secure location that's got alien technology, supposedly, what do you have to think about 2.5 million people that are jumping onto the bandwagon? I want to hear a therapist's point of view on this.
Oh my God! They want to be important. They want to be involved. They want to be part of it. I don't know. It's crazy. And I'm like very skeptical. I'm like, I don't think it's going to happen. Do you really?
I don't think 2.5 million people are going to show up. According to another radio show I listened to, all the hotels in the entire area are booked full for September 20th. So there are people going, don't get me wrong. And this started out as a joke. This whole Facebook page, this whole plan started out as a joke.
And the guy who started it is very scared now.
I'm presuming the guy that started the joke is not going.
No,
he
had no idea.
He has been visited by government agencies. He says his life is just a mess now.
Whoa.
Okay, but if you think about any Facebook event, any event page that you put up, there's usually about 5% of the people that say that they're going that'll actually show up. So do we really want 5% of 6 million or something showing up there? That's still a huge number of people that are coming.
Mm-hmm. The thing I keep asking about that is, you look at this event and you go, okay, that's a great event. I want to be there. At least when everybody wanted to go to Woodstock, there was a side effect to it that you could come out of it alive.
Possibly.
Well, okay, some of it didn't work out quite as well as you might have thought. But at least it wasn't an outright, let's go into a place where they stand there and they just publicly announce, if you set foot past this point, we will shoot you dead.
They've been warned. They were warned by the Air Force. They were warned by, they're going to have multiple military agencies and government agencies that are going to be at Area 51.
Okay, I think this is like a Tide Pod challenge.
There's going to be a lot of people show up.
Yeah. And they're fools. Just point blank.
Okay, and I can't remember who it was that said it, but somebody said that why don't they just open the base then? Well, if they just opened the base, then we could have Facebook events for raid any place, and they'd have to just open the base. They can't let people onto a classified area just because there's too many of them.
Ooh, raid the Twinkie factory.
Yeah, they shut that down for the longest time, I heard.
It's back up and running. We're good.
You realize with the Twinkie factory being shut down, it completely buggered up our entire economic system up here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it was horrible.
You say Twinkie, I think Zombieland, but yeah. So Zombieland.
Now, did you guys?
Huh?
Sorry. Did you guys happen to see how many other events came out of that event, though? Now there's one that's like Raid Loch Ness, and let's try to find him. He can't hide from all of us. There's tons of these that came out of that.
It's actually kind of a cute idea. Watch 150,000 people walk into Loch Ness and see how well they can swim.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, did you have you even thought about how many of those kind of groups that are chasing aliens, and I mean by those kind, the ones that go chase anything, anytime, any place. I wonder how many of those groups are going to go. I was just thinking about that. I wonder.
Oh,
yeah, I was thinking sort of that one, but I had the other thought too.
Like your favorite Ghostbuster person out of Vegas?
Oh, that's your butt. Biggins, that's Eric's buddy.
Huh? Which one?
Zach Biggins, that's your buddy.
Oh, no, he's not my buddy. He can go, though.
Let's hope he's at the forefront.
Here, but that's a phenomenal marketing opportunity for FMP.
No, FMP's not going to have any affiliation with...
Well, I wasn't referring to go on site. I was referring to going there to sell T-shirts so you could get them to come to the event.
Popcorn. We're going to sell popcorn.
Yeah, no, we're not even going to sell T-shirts. Popcorn. There.
Yeah, and we're not even going to sell it popped. Once they start the flamethrowers, it'll pop itself.
Yeah. All they got to do is throw it on the sand, it'll pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need an earthquake to get it to shake around a little.
With the landmines there, I'm pretty sure there'll be a pretty good earthquake.
Yeah, we won't have to worry about it. They got landmines. They got the seismic sensors. They've got they're covered. They're good.
Being a military brat, I have to look at this from the other side. If you're trying to storm a place, does it make sense to tell the people that you're going to storm? Does it make any practical sense to announce it?
No.
Especially several months in advance.
No.
Yeah,
That was, from a strategic standpoint, that was the stupidest thing they could have done. Just go there and do it.
The hardest part for me is they are going to put extra soldiers there. They have to take this as a realistic threat. Therefore, you got to believe that some of these people are extremists in some way, and there are soldiers that are going to get hurt out of this.
Oh, yeah.
That's the part that annoys me.
And that's the part I hate about this.
What really irritates me, too, is the fact that they do have to take it serious, regardless of the 1.5 million people showing up. They have to take it serious from a Homeland Security standpoint for the fact that out of the 1.5 million people showing up, there is the possibility there is a terrorist involved in that crowd. That doesn't give...
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. That's crazy, isn't it?
They don't even give a damn about Area 51, but it's a perfect target for a terrorist attack. And that's exactly why they have to take it serious, even if they thought it was just a bunch of fringe people that want to raid a secure base for alien stuff.
Well, if they get them before they get to the base, isn't that considered the Darwin effect?
That's the Darwin Award.
No, that's natural selection.
Yeah.
Darwin.
But you have to look at the whole scenario from many different viewpoints outside the box, and you're absolutely right, Cole. There's going to be soldiers hurt, airmen hurt, government agents hurt over a stupid prank is what it started out as.
And if any active soldiers are listening and you are being deployed there, be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I'm baffled by the timing. I think that's what, out of the whole thing, what baffles me the most. So, is it because Bob Lazar came out with his new movie last year? Because, Bob Lazar came out and talked about Area 51 back in the 80s and early 90s. How come there wasn't a big uprising then? And I know we talked about it. We talked because social media has been the big platform that everyone's passing information out. But it just... why?
I may be wrong, but it might be because people were smarter back then.
Well, yeah.
I have no doubt that you're right there.
Francie, you said the Tide Pod thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect example. And the bath salt. The people eating the bath salts. In Florida.
It's just... Well, somebody else said lemming behavior earlier.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, those non-lethal options, do any of them work with sterilization? Because do we really want these people procreating afterwards?
Oh, that might be a side effect. Undisclosed, but
let's hope.
But yeah, and so since we're on this topic, so September 21st, when S4 airs, we are going to do 51 seconds of silence for the Area 51 people that are going to die. So we will have a 51 moment of silence thing, but yeah, and
at least
black humor is us.
It is only on S4, named after Area 51, but yeah.
See, there was a question that came out a long time ago when certain movies started coming out. When was the zombie apocalypse going to happen? Well, apparently the zombies are hanging for Area 51.
It's going to happen, yeah. September 22nd will be zombie apocalypse.
Patient zero.
Oh, wait. No, we got to change that. September 30th.
Yeah.
After Paracon. There we go.
Well, it won't reach us till then.
Okay. There you go. I like that idea. Anyway, it is time. End of the first hour. It is time for break. When we come back, we will come to our second question of the night.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
We've had several days of 80-degree plus weather here in Concrete, Washington. My family's favorite way to keep cool in this heat is to stop by Java Zone 2 and grab a delicious iced latte for me and a blended mocha for my husband. Our son just loves their creamy milkshakes, and our daughter can't get enough of their ice cream. The best part is, Java Zone 2 is conveniently located just off Highway 20 beside Loggers Landing. And I'm proud to shop local for a business that has been a staple of the Concrete and Upriver community since it opened its doors in 2010. So if you're looking for a way to keep cool in this summer heat, come check out Java Zone 2. They're fast, friendly, and local.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, we are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Join us on September 28th at the Cedro Woolley Community Center for 2019 Forest Moon Paranormal Paracon. VIP All Access passes on sale now at fmparacon.com. Your pass includes all-day admission to see the speakers and workshops, the Ghost Walk, a special VIP workshop, a special roundtable with the speakers, a Paracon t-shirt, and an FMP Paracon swag bag. These tickets can be purchased from fmparacon.com. Get yours today.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4 Paranormal Radio, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. Looking for a way to get the word out there about your business, group, team, or product? Let us help you. A few clicks is all it takes to get started at s-4radio.com, or you can contact me at 360-999-2830. Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4, tonight's July Roundtable. You can also find the archives at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel for all the shows you missed in the last 3 years. Anyway, back to the show. All right. So that was an interesting first hour. So let's go with Francie. What's your second question tonight?
I am fascinated by black-eyed kids.
Oh, I wish Christina was here.
I think they call it abuse.
Let's see.
I've never obviously had any experience, but the stories that I have heard make the hair on the back of my neck raise up. And my question is, do you think they're interdimensional?
No.
I think it depends. I think most of them. No, I agree. They're not interdimensional. I think. Are there any off-world races that resemble the black-eyed kids, Keith?
Watchers can.
Watchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, watchers are literally a race, so that's literally what they do. They come in, they will not do anything, they won't say anything, they just watch what's going on. They're essentially what you would call...
But they're so needy. I mean, they're like, they want, you know? It's more than just watching. I think they're evil.
No, the black-eyed kid cases that I've actually heard of, they actually get aggressive and angry.
If they don't get their way,
right.
Like they want in, or they want permission, or they want entrance, or
absolutely.
What I always found interesting,
and deny them any kind of interaction.
And what I found interesting with them is they're very much like vampires. In that they cannot come in unless you invite them in or you allow them in. They can't just walk in. That's how vampires...
And they manipulate to try to get in, but they can't get in unless you let them in.
Right. Now,
have you ever heard of a story that anybody actually let them in or touched them or whatever? I mean, like more contact than, through the screen door.
Right. No, because what they say is the ones that have actually let them in, you don't hear from them again. I don't exactly agree with that either, though. But no, I've never actually been able to talk to someone that let them in, or what happened afterwards. But, I mean, so are they demonic? I don't think so.
I think they are, like, I know people like this, you know people that are just, they have this empty black hole in the middle of them and nothing you can do for them is enough. It just goes in the hole. I think these folks are... the black-eyed kids are like just needy.
Right. And what's interesting, so the first case involving black-eyed kids, if I remember right, and I can't remember the exact year, but I believe it was in the 70s, and it was in Texas. And it involved a guy in a car, and there were 3 of them. And he said no, and they started hitting his windows.
They wanted in his car?
Yeah. And they started hitting the window. It didn't break, but they started hitting his windows when he told them no, they couldn't come in. And they got angry. And he sped away, and he looked in his mirror, and they were gone.
Whoa.
Black eyes, blue eyes, brown eyes, I don't care.
Say again?
Was he in a parking lot, or like was it at a stop sign, or?
He was parked in an alley, and it was in Texas.
Wow, that's bizarre.
So.
Well, the one I heard was a lady, like answered her door late at night, like late at night. 10, 11 o'clock dark, and there were 2 children, like grade school age children, and they didn't have they didn't have a coat. It was chilly, it was fall, it was chilly, and they didn't have coats. And she said they wanted in to use the phone because they needed to call their mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, if from a human perspective, if a human is approached by a child who needs something to get to their mom, do you think you're going to help them? I mean, that's a quite a hook to
Well,
use.
because the normal person with parenting instinct is going to,
Yeah.
the children, let them on in.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think there's an energy that the black-eyed children give off that kind of, raises the red flags. It says, no, hell no, don't let them in.
Yeah, because they're creepy.
Right. Well, yeah. So they, just like their title says, they have black eyes. I mean, there's no pupil. There's no. They have black eyes. You
like the circle part is all black.
Yes. Yeah. So
no white.
You're gonna know that these ain't normal kids.
Well, but the problem is, like Tripp said, nowadays there's contacts for that.
And this is true. And if they have contacts in, they ain't getting in the house. Take them out.
We have a no contact policy.
Right? So, yeah, and once Christina gets her situation resolved in California, she's actually dealt with black-eyed kids. So she would be the perfect one to answer this question. And
well, let's table it.
We can do that.
Yep.
We can bring it up later in the show when if she gets her situation resolved in the next 2 hours.
Unless, we don't have to stop talking about it anyway.
No. What do you know about the black-eyed kids, Keith?
Well, number one, we can safely say they are not interdimensional.
Right.
It is a good idea not to grab hold of them for one very simple reason. You're likening them to vampire is actually pretty accurate because it's not blood that they'll pull out of you. It's literally life energy.
Okay. And
oh,
yeah, I got it. So they're energy vamps.
Absolutely.
So, I have a question about that. Will grounding and shielding protect you from that?
The level that you guys have, don't take this the wrong way, but it's highly improbable.
Okay. No, that's
Okay, it's kind of like using a garden hose to put out a forest fire.
Huh.
See, the problem is when you take a look at the way that these particular guys operate, they will pull the energy from every square inch of your body all at the same time.
So, based on that, if going back to the case of the guy in Texas, when he looked in the mirror and they were gone, if he would have turned his head and looked behind him, he might have still seen him.
Exactly.
Gotcha. So they weren't seen in a mirror. Not
dude, that's like vampires too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but vampires do. Vampires are essentially invisible for a slightly different reason.
So Starflower is in the chat room. She wants to know why are the black-eyed kids here. I would have to say it's like any entity. Why is any entity here?
When people call them kids, that's actually quite the apropos name for them. Because that's literally what they are, just children. And all races have children. These ones just happen to be a little bit more temperamental.
So, Keith, back to this protection thing against them. You said grounding and shielding won't work. So a combination of even stones and grounding and shield, nothing will it help? Will it
The
work?
trick is not so much to... The funny part is, if you're trying to ground, you're trying to anchor yourself. Okay, essentially is what it boils down to. And as with certain things, when people are trained in martial combat, sometimes the best way to throw somebody offline is to move towards them, not to pull away. And when you're dealing with these people, if you take a sudden, and it takes a special type of manipulation, but if you can drop a bunch of your energy in a heartbeat, they'll let go.
Okay. Okay. So basically, if you can shield just shield on instantly, you would have a chance.
No, you want download. In other words, take some of your energy reserve and literally hand it to them in one chunk.
Okay.
You
Because
overload
what
them.
you do is overload
Is it like
their system.
giving the picnic basket to Yogi Bear?
No, that just tempts him. Stuffing the chicken in the picnic basket down his throat may help.
Gotcha.
So, could you liken the black-eyed kids to the shadow creatures?
Absolutely, they are.
Oh.
You know, the reason I say they are not a different dimension is because they're in this one.
Right.
Okay, everything existing in this world is third dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, however, they do vibrate at a different rate, and they do feed on something other than corporeal food.
Mm-hmm.
They feed on life energy. But you're dealing with children,
Right.
which is why if you don't let them interact with other people, they will get testy.
So, are they a young race?
No, the black-eyed children are not a young race. They're just young of an older race.
Okay.
What do they look like as adults? Shadow people.
No, quite seriously, they do look a little taller, but the reality is, as they get older, they figure out that they can actually pull energy out of plants without causing a problem. It's just when they're young, they are looking for a much more vibrant source of energy because they don't have the patience to pull it off slowly. Okay, that and the fact that they are trying desperately to understand why they're told they're not allowed to interact with people. Kind of like a human kid. If you tell a kid they're not allowed to do something, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to go out and try and do it.
Right.
That's where I'm getting the impression that they're so needy. Like,
Yes. They are craving physical contact and interaction.
Uh-huh.
They don't get the idea that physical contact is fatal for the people they're physically trying to contact.
Huh. How weird.
Okay, so we'll table that if Christina gets back in. Kayla, what's your next question?
Okay. Weirdly enough, I'm going to stick on the topic of children, but I'm going to go with this. And there's this legend out of England, out of Woolpit, about the green children of Woolpit. Supposedly they came and they said they were from a different planet or different area, and they had a green tinge to their skin and would only eat farva beans.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, so what I'm kind of wondering here is, because there has been some historical proof about this, so do you think it actually happened, first off? And second off, do you think that they were only green tinged because they only ate farva beans and it was the chemicals in that, like carotene in carrots, or...
The green tinged people they're talking about are green tinged, absolutely, but no, the green tinge is not caused by farva beans. And see, I do know of a race that would make total sense with. Okay, Martokians, which are what you would call Martians.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. They are green. They are not little green men. Although the children are obviously not 6 feet tall, that's how tall the adults are. And they're just not born that height. The thing is that when you look at their diet, the farva beans are something that they found. It's kind of like human kids and Skittles. You know,
Okay.
they've got a flavor that they have found to be overall enjoyable.
The other side of that I would have to throw in is it sounds fey. It sounds like a fairy race.
Yeah, but it's not.
Well, it would lead to the Trip is in the chat room calling it folklore. Everything in folklore comes from a tidbit of truth.
Absolutely.
So it could be fey. It could be off-world. You'd have to look at the culture that the folklore stems from.
Yeah, technically could be fey. I don't, and quite frankly, from my standpoint, it doesn't feel right.
Right.
And I know.
Are you walking, Keith?
I am not. I can get my feet on the floor, so that would be a neat trick. It would certainly be a showstopper around here.
Right.
So I have a Faye question. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
Well, I'd love to hear other people's interactions and experiences with Faye, but here's my question. Is there a connection between the jinn and Faye?
No. So
really?
The jinn, some equate them with Faye, but they're not. The jinn, I always tell people, are the Islamic equivalent to the demon.
The what?
The Islamic equivalent of a demon.
Oh.
No, jinn are not nice. Jinn are tricksters and very malevolent.
And temperamental.
Yeah.
If you don't cooperate.
You want to see jinn? Watch the movie Wishmaster.
Okay.
That would be a jinn. But that would be a very mild jinn. But Hollywood's version of a jinn.
Okay.
But no, not Faye. I mean, yeah, there's malevolent Faye, but jinn's a whole completely different category that's not related.
Got it. Huh. So, are there jinn in North America, or is this just
jinn can travel?
Eastern?
No, jinn are everywhere. They originate from the Middle East, but they're everywhere. They all travel. Just like you'll find, the Fae from Ireland, the Fae from European ancestry here as well. I mean, it really doesn't matter your location because they all travel dimensionally, interdimensionally through their different realms. So it's really irrelevant where. So Trip and asking, can jinn travel to who's calling them? Yes, they can. So yeah, no, and that's part of the reference that it doesn't matter where. If you call it a jinn, they can come here. But you don't.
No,
you don't want. Yeah,
why would you want to?
Well, because you watched I Dream of Jeannie, so you think of Jeannie's a jinn. So yeah, they make jinn look wonderful back in the 60s and 70s.
And they are a lot of fun to play with. But I will tell you,
Darren thought so.
We had soldiers when we were in Iraq that brought artifacts and stuff from the Middle East over here that had attachments from Middle Eastern descent. But they don't have to travel through items. Some of them were attached to items, though. But Yeah, it depends.
It makes you think about going to secondhand stores and antique malls, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's a big problem. And the other big problem is these stores that actually sell haunted items.
We had one here where the person running the store had a habit of tainting their own stuff, or summoning things in to attach to it before they sold it.
Okay.
You know, not the brightest option.
Right. Okay, I need to call Chris in real quick. While I'm doing that, Cole, what's your next question?
Okay. So, a while ago on how do I put that? On a case that we had,
okay,
we ran into some guardian trees. Not literally ran into them, but like we came across some guardian trees.
They don't move. It's not like they could have moved. You should have stopped. I mean, yes, some trees walk, but they don't move very quick.
So, what's a guardian tree?
So a guardian tree, it depends on the culture reference. In Native American culture, they are trees that protect the forest lands. So certain trees are considered that, like old cedar or oak would be considered a guardian tree. And certain ones that don't pull from the earth as much as they give back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see a lot more growth around those trees than other ones.
Are they often, like, bigger, more like elderly, old, big trees? Or can they be just any size? They can honestly be just any size because every tree has to grow. Yeah.
So, but my question is, you can come across guardian trees, as I found out through research, through almost every ancient culture. With that, what are your ideas that, has anyone ever come across a story of actual ant trees?
Yeah.
That could be proved worthy of being true.
Well, they don't move at the speed ants do. But I believe it's Borneo. There's something down there called a walking tree. And they literally pick up and move.
Wow.
Really?
I mean, you can do, I can't tell you where to find it, but I think it's in Borneo. I think. But they're literally called walking trees.
Don't they have walking fish, too, down there?
Yeah, nothing wants to stay where it's supposed to.
They're all trying to get out of Borneo.
What's up, Borneo?
Sorry.
If we have any Borneo listeners, I'm very sorry.
Oh, speaking of listeners, we've got a listener in North Korea.
Cool.
Were we going to give a shout out to them, Cole?
Are you sure north? I think south.
South, okay.
South.
We actually have a South Korea listener.
Dude, you just got 3 people in North Korea killed.
No, if it's anybody, it's Kim Jong-un.
It might be.
He'd be the only one that could, like, actually listen to what he wanted to listen to.
You do realize they do have some hackers down there that can do it anyway?
Right.
Really?
Oddly
He's the only regular person that can do it because he hasn't given the citizens the Wi-Fi password.
We are really off track. I'm sorry to tell you all. But as your mental health person, I must.
I warned you I was beyond help. By the way, that tree I was talking about?
Yeah.
They're in Central America. Something called Socratia exoriza.
Wow.
Also known as the walking palm or the cachapona. Native to the rainforest in tropical Central and South America, can grow 25 meters in height with a stem diameter of up to 16 centimeters.
Now, Eric, would that be related to the Fae?
That particular one, I don't believe so. I'm not familiar with that one. But I did want to bring up the fact that the ones that were talking to you were the Dryads. And so the Dryads are part of the Fae realm. They are the spirits of the tree. Now, depending on which theory or which belief you go with, some say the Dryads can actually, for example, if loggers come in and cut the tree down, they can actually shift to another tree. They're not bound like a soul is to that specific tree. Others believe...
Yeah, they can't. They'll usually destroy the equipment first.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't going to go there with that, though, but...
No. My bad.
They're the guardians of the tree. They can destroy the chainsaw or whatever. They usually won't. They'll usually just shift and move to another tree. Then you have other theories that believe the Dryad dies with the tree when that tree dies. Personally, I believe they shift to other trees. That's where I go with that belief.
Hey, Cole. I was on that investigation with you, but I didn't really know what was going on over there. Can you... See, this is all new to me because I just stay in the protection area, but can you explain to me what happened? How this came about? Like, you say, okay, they're guardian trees. Well, how did you know that, and what happened on that investigation?
Okay, first of all, I gotta ask, is everybody okay? Because we keep hearing, like, screaming.
That was my phone. It was Bigfoot going off. It did it once. Sorry, I turned it off.
Hey, I'm doing okay. Although...
I'm ready for Paracon. I have Bigfoot yelling on my phone.
Gotta let him out every once in a while. He'll stop screaming.
Yes.
Well, it's okay if he yells on your phone. The way he steps on it, it becomes a problem.
You gotta feed him.
Okay, so, Eric, can I elaborate a little bit more on this?
Yeah, we just can't talk location or family name or whatnot.
Okay.
Generalities.
We were at a house. We went off to the side, and we were just walking the property, and we came across 5 trees. And I believe it was 3 oak trees and 2 cedar. And I am not a common experiencer of anything. Earlier in the investigation, though, I felt me and Chris, before we had started the investigation, she had went through protecting and grounding with me because I was feeling particularly weak that day. So we went through that, and I was able to get my shields up. During the first part of the investigations, I found that my shields were waning, but I felt other shields come and help me. Kind of like being surrounded by a bubble that wasn't my own. So I felt bubble wrapped. And when we went over to the guardian trees, I felt more than heard something tell me that these trees were holding something back and not to go to that part of the forest behind them. Now, beside these 4 or 5 trees, there was one that was dead. And it was dead in a way that it was a cedar, and it was dead in a way that a cedar tree shouldn't die.
It was burnt, if I remember right. It had burn marks on it.
It had burn marks on it. It had holes throughout it.
Yeah.
But it had no sign of insects.
It reminded me of a tree that went through a battlefield.
Yeah. That's actually a very good description.
From whatever was... And we are going back to that site because there is more to that that's going on that we need to figure out.
So when we went into the actual house, I could still feel these shields helping me. And Eric was upstairs in the house. And again, I felt like I shouldn't be up there. So I stayed downstairs and looked around at what I could find. And we actually did find something that was odd with the plants. And was the fact that a plant, she had plants at the bottom of the stairs, and all of the leaves were growing away from the staircase in a way that was unnatural for them. It was actually a pretty amazing case for me. So, yeah.
So, behind the trees was a forest.
A mountain.
Yeah. A forested
okay.
mountain.
Okay.
So I'm going to interject real quick because it's not just that mountain, but there's something going on in several different mountain areas in this area. Whether it's a new creature that's coming here, whether it's, I don't know, a gateway opening up and letting something out that shouldn't be out. We're not sure. This is something that Izzy and I have been looking at for a couple of years now. Because of the fact that we have an agreement with the Fae here. They don't come on the sanctuary property here. They can go up in the mountain all they want, but there's something that was killing the Fae about 2 years ago. And very much kind of the same feel as what was going on in that particular mountain.
So does it have to be etheric to kill them?
In this case, I believe so.
But could something organic kill them?
The Fae?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Generally speaking,
yeah,
no.
That's what I thought.
If someone was to go put Roundup in their garden, that's not going to kill the Fae. The Fae are just going to move. They're going to leave.
Okay.
So no, this is again. This is something etheric. This is something that's coming through that shouldn't be here, or something that's being introduced to the environment here. I don't know. It's something we got to look at real hard.
Could it be like a portal? Like you said, something opening up to allow.
That's possible, but portals, it depends. These are things we look at. Is it cross ley lines? It could be. There's a lot of different detailed research we have to look at that are possibilities. I keep wanting to say gateway. I'm not sure. I think it's more than a portal. Portals are what people disappear into in Missing 401. Portals are what people have popping up in their homes that spirits, come back and forth. This is much bigger than that. Just the feel I get from it. You still there, Cole?
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Okay.
Careful.
Right.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Well, I probably could have, but.
Okay. Well, okay. So one of the things that we did research already for part of it is a possibility of something similar to a Wendigo. And me and the kids tonight just watched Pet Sematary, and I forgot that whole movie is based on those. And we watched the new one.
Right.
That just came out on DVD last week, and they actually redid it. They redid it really well.
Oh, they redid it?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it made me jump. They still have it, so there's not a lot of new movies that can make me do that, and that was one of them.
We'll have to watch it tomorrow.
And it was actually really good. I was happy.
It is Stephen King that did that one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why it's good then.
I didn't realize they redid it. I'm so far behind.
Yeah, they only just redid it, I think last year, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
Yeah, you remember the old neighbor in the original?
Yeah.
John Lithgow took the role this time.
Nice choice.
Like him.
So, and he did a really good job.
So
okay, can you see John Lithgow not doing a good job?
No.
So
he could have been nicer to Harry in Harry and the Hendersons. That's all I'm saying.
Are you coming to Paracon, Francie?
I'm not sure yet. I might have a conflict.
Okay.
I need to figure it out.
If you come to Paracon, I want you on the round table.
Okay.
And yes, I'm putting you on the spot on the radio.
Eric?
Yeah.
Eric? It is the Q&A panel with the speakers, not the round table.
Q&A panel. Yeah. The VIP Q&A panel. There we go. So, Chris, are you still with us on Brent's phone? I hear shifting around. What's your next question?
Who was that you?
Chris.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
All right. What's your
My
next
next
question? Yeah.
Where do I start? Okay, let's get into the topic that you mentioned earlier about the list of paranormal teams, and they're not going anymore.
Ah, okay.
Let's get in depth on this. Why do you think that they don't make it a paranormal team?
Okay, that's an easy one. So, if you don't have the heart and soul for this job, and I call it a job because that's how we treat it. If you get into the paranormal because you might have had a jump here and there growing up, and you got out of it, and then all of a sudden you watch paranormal TV, and you want to be a Ghostbuster, and you get a couple of your buddies and you want to go be a Ghostbuster, you're not in it for the right reason. Most of your fringe teams that get started that way last maybe a year, maybe at the most 2. If you don't have the blood for this, if you don't have the heart and soul for this, you're not going to make it. So you're going to find about 90% of the teams out there started for that reason. Because they want evidence. And they're not going to get evidence. So they do.
Think that
They'll fail.
Do you think there could be, which I think there could be, teams that possibly go on a boots on ground case, run into something they don't have experience with, and they're like, no, we're done.
And that happens too. And that's part of the reason, that's part of the fringe teams. That's what I call the fringe teams.
That's just, I can't get over that list in Washington that 80% of the teams are just not there anymore. That's a huge percentage.
No, there were 72 teams listed in Washington State, and only about maybe 10 of them. I don't even think it was that much. 5 to 10 of them were even still active out of 72, 73.
How old is the list? Is it like just ancient or?
So it's an interactive list. It's actually paranormalsocieties.com. Anybody can go up there and throw their team on. So you've got.
But nobody cleans it up. Nobody goes in and verifies.
No. So I'm finding 80% of them are dead websites, which I can get that. Websites cost money. If you don't want to invest the money for people to find you, especially with Facebook, Yahoo, better platforms on social media to find people that need help, or find people that, I wouldn't even say need help, find people that say they have a haunting that we can get evidence from, because most of them.
I would say also that a lot of people just don't know what it means to, interact with the public and take phone calls, and like you said, it's work.
We're going to go, we're going to go a lot more in depth into this topic in August. We're going to make August the Paranormal Problem Month for that fact. And in fact,
Paranormal Team Boot Camp.
Yeah. But for August Roundtable, I'm going to contact 5 different teams, and we're going to have a roundtable with 5 unknown people representing their teams. And they're going to bring 3 questions to the panel.
Such a cool idea. From all over the country, right?
Yeah. I'll pick one in Florida. I'll pick one in Texas. I'll pick one in New York. I'll pick one in California. And maybe a couple.
I'm just getting excited for Paragon where I can teach protection. That's what I'm waiting for. That's gonna be fun.
Well,
hey, one other quick question for Keith too. While I'm thinking of it, I think it was last week's show. Somebody brought up the topic. Is Keith still here?
Oh, Keith.
It works out better if I turn the mic on.
I think somebody had a question. I've been racking my brain for an hour and a half, and I've got smoke coming out of my ears because I've been thinking so hard. That I think the question was, what exactly does Bigfoot eat?
Primarily vegetarian. And that is, he's got a vegetarian diet. He doesn't eat vegetarians.
That's too bad.
Isn't he an omnivore?
He is. He's got a diet very similar to what bears have.
So it was definitely Bigfoot that took my rooster.
Well, I can't say it definitely was. You might have some sort of chap out there that just didn't like you.
The thing that took the rooster walked on 2 legs through, and Cole's seen the blackberries, through a 1/4 acre of blackberry bushes, snatched up the rooster, and ran back through them. A tweaker's not going to do that. A bear's not going to do that. It was definitely a Bigfoot.
Yeah, a bear is not going to get up on 2 legs. I don't care what happens. It's not going to go after the rooster in lieu of the berries.
No. And my father-in-law actually watched this happen. He couldn't actually see.
Wow.
he couldn't actually see what it was other than that it was very hairy, was on two legs, and ran through the blackberries. So
So
yeah.
are Bigfoot interdimensional?
No. I've gotten into this discussion with so many people over this.
I know. I hear this a lot. I'm surprised that you said that. How come?
Should have asked me earlier. Why do I say they're not?
Yeah.
Well, primarily because Gigantopithecus never was. Besides that, there is another race that looks very similar to Bigfoot that is off-world, but it's not interdimensional either.
Okay.
No, he's off-world.
But no, Bigfoot is very definitively corporeal and from here.
Cool.
See, one of the big issues there is, and this is the whole crux behind why I say they're not interdimensional, because the only thing existing on this planet is from this dimension. It cannot, a fourth dimensional entity cannot exist in third dimensional space. Much like third dimensional entity cannot exist in fourth dimensional space. They'll tear themselves apart.
Right.
They are, however, absolute masters at disguise, as in being able to blend right into, I should say, camouflage, not disguise.
You hear about, how their tracks just disappear.
Yes.
And then that, I think that's why people are so bent on the interdimensional thing, because that would explain that.
No, it wouldn't. I'll tell you why it wouldn't.
Okay.
The second you put a footprint into third dimensional loam, if it's soft loam, it'll bounce out, first of all. And the fact that the entity disappears, and even if it were possible for an entity to disappear into a different dimension, it won't leave behind, it won't take with it the footprints.
Right.
If it made footprints here, they're going to stay here.
Yes.
Okay. Unless, of course, you want to go with the idea that maybe the footprints become interdimensional as well, which would be entertaining.
Magicians do that kind of stuff.
Yes, but magicians aren't interdimensional.
They're not?
Some of them might be.
Darn.
Cole, Jerry's going to be so disappointed.
Now, are we talking about a Bigfoot that has the ability to chameleon then? Like, so it can change its fur color to like a green?
Not exactly. It's more a question of, because of the coloring on them in the first place, when you get in the right lighting and what have you, they know how to use shadows to work in their favor. And of course, if you stand still enough, you won't see it. Well,
okay, and I'm assuming because they live in the woods, they can obviously climb trees. So wouldn't that explain why their footprints just disappear? Like,
oh, good idea.
Well, I've actually got cases here at Lake Tyee where you follow a Bigfoot through a snowy field. There's no trees around, but the footprints disappear in snow.
That's why I kind of go with a shapeshifter kind of thing. Maybe they just turn into a bird and fly off.
Oh, no, that's why Keith and I disagree with the interdimensional.
Well, I have also heard that they're aliens and they shapeshift into gray.
No, definitely not.
So, like he said, there is an off-world Bigfoot that looks very similar to what people see as Bigfoot. The difference being the off-world race is aggressive.
Oh, extremely.
So that's why you do hear Bigfoot attack stories. That's not the Bigfoot that we know of. It's the Awara.
Yeah, you got it. The water.
Yeah, the Awara, which is an off-world Bigfoot. Now, if you go on YouTube, and I hate always recommending YouTube because I don't particularly believe half of what I see on YouTube. You have to use critical thinking with YouTube. I usually look for 3 different sources of what I see on YouTube for validation. Now, if you go and you look for Bigfoot attack stories on YouTube, you'll find one here in Washington where there was 2 boys in Granite Falls. Wasn't it Granite Falls, Chris?
I think so.
Yeah. And they were chased by a Bigfoot. Now, what strikes me odd with that whole story was Bigfoot kicked their door. He didn't
So that was Arlington.
Huh?
That was Arlington down here.
Yeah. If Bigfoot kicks your kitchen door, I don't care how sturdy or how solid your door is going to shatter. So I have a hard time with that particular story.
It was painful. Even the trash can into a frisbee.
There's your answer, guys. That's
that?
how they're getting into Area 51.
Oh, God. Why did you bring up Area 51 again?
Sorry.
But if you watch the same video, there's 3 stories that happened here in Washington. Well, 2 happened in Washington. The last one was in Oregon. And it was a psychiatrist that took his family up in the mountains in Oregon. And he didn't believe in Bigfoot. He was a psychiatrist. No way Bigfoot exists. Well, until he got chased. And his whole family, him, his wife, and his 2 kids, they became Bigfoot believers really quick. And he became a Bigfoot researcher.
That was easy for you to say.
Huh?
I said that was easy for you to say.
Right?
And that gets me, Eric, that gets me. If Bigfoot's going to chase somebody with his height and he's got a huge stride, how can he chase without touching them?
Say again?
Turn to steer.
Okay, with Bigfoot's height and obviously his stride,
right.
How can he chase people and not catch them? That doesn't make sense to me. If he's going to try to catch you and run after you, he's going to catch you because he's going to outrun a human.
I think because of territory. I don't think he intends to do any harm. I think he wants to terrify. Scare you away from his territory. And that's another reason I don't believe Bigfoot is the cause of missing 411. I believe there's multiple other reasons, but I don't think Bigfoot's taking people. I've never thought that. Especially the fact that
doesn't take people. Bigfoot returns.
No, they return kids.
Yes. And they don't want the adults.
Explain the difference between the ones up here, the Bigfoot up here, and the ones that you talk about that are down in Florida, the creatures down there. Aren't they related in some way? And why would that race down south be so angry? Because they're more...
Well, think how wet and warm it is, and they'd walk around with a fur coat.
I would be pissed off too if I had a fur. If I had fur and it's 120 degrees and humid, I'd be mad too.
No, the big difference is this: the aggressive ones aren't Bigfoot.
No, those are Awara.
So they're not related in any way. Not in the same family.
As much as they're on the same planet.
Right. So the Awara are the ones that aren't from Earth. The Bigfoot are.
Yes.
So the ones down south are off-worlders.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
what do you call? They call them creatures. Is that what you call them down there?
They're here too.
Okay.
So Trippin is got so a skunk ape that's in the south.
Yes.
Anyway, it's time for break, our last break of the night, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
We've had several days of 80-degree plus weather here in Concrete, Washington. My family's favorite way to keep cool in this heat is to stop by Java Zone 2 and grab a delicious iced latte for me and a blended mocha for my husband. Our son just loves their creamy milkshakes, and our daughter can't get enough of their ice cream. The best part is, Java Zone 2 is conveniently located just off Highway 20 beside Loggers Landing. And I'm proud to shop local for a business that has been a staple of the Concrete and Upriver community since it opened its doors in 2010. So if you're looking for a way to keep cool in this summer heat, come check out Java Zone 2. They're fast, friendly, and local.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, we are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Join us on September 28th at the Cedar-Woolley Community Center for 2019 Forest Moon Paranormal Paracon. VIP All Access passes on sale now at fmparacon.com. Your pass includes all-day admission to see the speakers and workshops, the Ghost Walk, a special VIP workshop, a special roundtable with the speakers, a Paracon t-shirt, and an FMP Paracon swag bag. These tickets can be purchased from fmparacon.com. Get yours today.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4 Paranormal Radio, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. Looking for a way to get the word out there about your business, group, team, or product? Let us help you. A few clicks is all it takes to get started at s-4radio.com, or you can contact me at 360-999-2830. Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4 tonight's July Roundtable. You can also find the archives from all of our other shows at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel for all the shows you missed in the last 3 years. Anyway, back to the show. And so when we left, we were talking about the difference between the Awara and Bigfoot. Or skunk ape. And I don't know. What do you think, Keith? So is there a skunk ape, a Bigfoot, and an Awara? Or is skunk ape and Awara the same thing?
I suspect the skunk ape and the Wara are probably the same. One of the biggest things you look at there is literally the aggression.
Right. Seems to be the biggest difference, and the fact that the skunk ape, if I recall right, is shorter than the Pacific Northwest Bigfoot.
Yes, which would make sense.
Considering
Wara are only on average about 5.5 tall.
Right. Exactly. But like I said, I'm sorry, if I had a fur suit on and I was at 120 degrees and humid, I'd be pissed off too.
Well, I think,
but anyway, getting back to it, because it's a fascinating YouTube video. It's fascinating for the fact that you've got a psychiatrist who is a complete skeptic that there's any such thing as Bigfoot. Goes from being this complete skeptic to so much of a believer, he's made it his new profession to research Bigfoot. And not only research Bigfoot, because he calls it Bigfoot, but what he's actually researching is the Awara. He just doesn't know it. And neither does BFRO. If you talk to the BFRO, they think we have aggressive Bigfoot.
Yeah, no. The most aggressive thing I've ever seen a Bigfoot do is break a tree branch. And it's usually by accident.
Throw rocks. They do throw rocks. And they do throw logs. And that's to get you away from their territory.
You remember so do the Scottish?
Say again?
I said so do the Scots.
Well, yeah. But this professor that turned into a researcher actually goes into... They were sitting... They actually showed them in this video. It was obviously a reenactment. But they were sitting in pitch black in the mountains. And all of a sudden there was an orb of light that was so bright they were illuminated. And it appeared behind them. And then it shot up into the stars. And next thing they knew, they were surrounded by these growling, angry Bigfoot, which we now know are Awara. But they weren't attacked. They were actually told telepathically by these beings that they were Bigfoot and they were off-world. They weren't from here. And it got me thinking, and that's why I approached Keith about this, about 3-4 months ago, wasn't it, Keith?
About that, I suspect.
Yeah.
I know it was right after I came into the hospital, so I'm a little sketchy.
Right. And, yeah, going by the description of the Awara, yeah, they're a little bit shorter. But very much the same as Bigfoot, other than about the height and the personality.
Yeah.
And the fact that there are, I don't know if you call them spacecraft, but, orbs of light that come down with them. And they're...
What about, is there more I can't say that word. Aurora. I can't. Anyway,
Wow.
Is there more of them or more Bigfoot?
Overall, there's definitively more Wara. It's just that the Wara aren't on, and there's more Bigfoot on the planet than Wara.
And see, that's the thing. We have Keith. But if you talk to BFRO or other Bigfoot organizations, they just think there's angry Bigfoot, and Bigfoot are aggressive and attack everybody, depending on the case and depending on the story. I've never really encountered an aggressive Bigfoot here in the Pacific Northwest, though, so it didn't make sense. Other than the fact that you've got angry humans, you got angry Bigfoot, not everybody's the same, but it makes more sense if you have a different species that is off-world that has the more aggressive traits. And yes, Trip, we do claim Keith.
It's okay. I keep getting asked if I actually take any time off.
So in relation to what's your response, Francie, when people say psychiatrists are bat crap crazy?
Well, duh.
Well, I mean, as far as the paranormal, or
No, they seem to have this thing that psychiatrists are just crazy to begin with for being in the psychiatric field.
oh, that's silly. You should. I mean, honestly, there's all kinds of people that are very, very intelligent that are interested in humanity. There's nothing wrong with being interested in humanity.
But then you have Freud.
Well, Freud had his points. Honestly, we still talk about projection and, all of that other stuff that he came up with that we still talk about. So, I mean, he had his points.
No, I've got to laugh at Trip. Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trip said someone has to claim you or you'll just keep going around the baggage carousel.
That's why you have the airport.
Oh.
You know what's funny and ironic is Francie's the only one that I know of on the panel that has certificates and degrees, but all of us on this panel think that everybody that goes after Area 51 is all nuts anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it never made any sense to me when setting up as a joke is great. Actually responding to it and actually planning it. My best friend happens to be a paranoid schizophrenic, which might give you an idea where my mind is. But,
They're a lot of fun. Paranoid schizophrenics, I'm talking about.
they are. This one's actually medicated, and he stays medicated because he knows he needs to. I mean, I'd be safe, but I wouldn't count on the rest of the people.
Trip, you are not certifiable.
No, Trip's not
certified. You are certifiable.
Oh, anyway. Keith, what's your next question for the panel tonight?
Well, it actually has more to do with the media than anything else. Given that it is a proven fact that whatever you put on the front page of a newspaper gets replicated by the locals, and the fact that most criminals have a tendency of doing things, granted they want their own stuff, but a great number of them do it because they want attention to start with. Where is the logic in putting all the negative stuff on the front page?
It sells ratings.
Yeah, it's what people like. As much as we say we don't, it's what we want to see.
And people are subjugated by fear.
Well,
if you made people happy, it would be a whole different ballgame.
That's why half the people watch shows like Ghost Adventures. And, they like the fear factor.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it a control thing? I mean, honestly, if you're sitting in your living room and you're scared, and you can get up and go to the bathroom, there's a control factor to that kind of fear rather than, I don't know, somebody holding you at gunpoint or something.
Last time I got held at gunpoint, it didn't go well.
That's not funny, but it's funny. Sorry.
I got to ask for who, though?
For the other person.
In all fairness, for the guy holding the gun on me.
Yeah. I knew that was... I knew you were going with that one.
Yeah, that was a whole different experience altogether, and he was just completely lost.
And, I think Tripp is saying it perfectly, is that fear sells more than happiness. Fear keeps people on the edge of their seats. And that's what makes ratings.
Well, yeah, look at Facebook. They've started covering videos that might be too harsh for some people to handle. I don't know about you guys, but I click on every single one of those. I want to see what's behind that cover.
Oh, I don't have time.
Oh, I don't. I live in a bubble of my own making.
I used to live in a bubble.
Oh. But, it's the negativity that brings negativity. It's the negativity that brings malevolent entities down here. It's the negativity that brings...
Does it not feed them?
It does.
I mean, are we not feeding negative entities when we're, fearful and distraught and, not in our space?
It depends on the entity, but some of them, it actually feeds them.
Yeah.
That makes them stronger.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what we teach our clients, our FMP clients, to mitigate that kind of stuff in their life.
Well, not just that, but you make them stronger. You teach them grounding and shielding to protect themselves.
Right.
And
empower.
That's what. There you go. It empowers them to take back their life, take back their home, take back their business, and a lot of these entities can't come back. When it comes to the spirits, you just cross them over and they're home. And then you've got, in some cases, you've got the malevolent entities that entrap spirits. So you've got multiple activity going on because you've got spirit activity plus the malevolent entities. So once you... Go ahead.
You go ahead and finish your thought. I've got a question.
Okay. So once you combat the malevolent entities out, you cross over the spirits, and then you teach the client how to protect and defend their home.
So my bonus question, I think I've asked all my questions plus this. I think it'd be cool if you explained how FMP uses astral. And, I mean, for people that don't know that, and how it's different from remote viewing.
Oh, we've talked about this so many times.
Well, don't go there then. I mean,
No, it's fine. So with astral...
Short version.
Yeah, nutshell version. Because if you want to hear all about astral, we've got an astral show from, 2 months ago?
Well, and we're going to have Richard doing an astral...
Workshop
at Paracon this year.
Yeah. We actually have an astral workshop coming at Paracon. Richard Benak, our instructor, will be going over astral with about a 30-minute block. We also now have Bill Hauser doing a spirit box session for Paracon. So there's a lot of new updates coming with Paracon. We're still developing the fine tunes of it. It's pretty much locked in. Other than small workshops and whatnot we're adding. So what the team does with Astral is leaving their body consciously, and with that they can travel globally, which is why it baffles clients every time. But I'm in Philadelphia. How are you guys going to come to my house? Well, we don't need to come to your house. We come astrally. We take cases in South Africa, Australia, Egypt. It doesn't really matter where you're at. So the team can actually astrally travel. They come in. They can actually see spirits and entities much easier than if we were to physically come into your house. They can pass over spirits. They combat malevolent entities. They remove anything that's causing issues. Now, with remote viewing, you're only consciously living your mind. You're only able to observe. Versus,
you can't interact.
No, there's no interaction with remote viewing.
So, do remote viewers ever, accidentally astral? Whoops.
That's a good question. I think it's a completely.
Yeah.
I think it's a different training tactic, though.
Yeah, but if you do it naturally, you do it by accident.
Right. And
Basically, what I've ended up doing it myself, where you're just trying to take a look, and you get so caught up in taking a look, you go over there, and you literally end up leaving your body and ending up where you're going to take a look.
Right.
You are right. If you're training, it's not something that happens by accident.
No, and
you don't know you're doing it to start with, which is how I ended up doing it.
So in the FMP library, I actually have the CIA's remote viewing training guide. It's just interesting reading. But the CIA was using remote viewing back in the 60s and 70s only for spying. They weren't there to do anything else. And they were spying on Russia, they were spying on China, and I'm sure they're still doing it today. They're also using them today to spy on my lab cases. So
My
it's still
question,
being...
Coop, is...
Say again?
Oops. Sorry. Now, was it remote viewing that introduced astral, or?
Oh no, there's been astral travel since the beginning of human civilization.
Oh yeah, never mind. Sorry, I just remembered.
And I'm sure there's been remote viewing since the beginning of human civilization as well. But the CIA is the one who coined the term, or coined the concept with spying on Russia and China, pretty much. They also used it in the Vietnam War. But that's the difference. Remote viewing, you're only observing, you're not interacting. With remote viewing, with astral travel, you're actually, it's total interaction.
So can you interact physically with the physical environment, or can you just interact with the spirit, like the etheric?
That actually depends on your training level, and it takes a lot of energy. And there's only two people on this whole team that can actually. There's methods that you can use in astral where it takes a lot of energy, but you can actually knock physical items over in people's homes.
Huh. Okay.
So we need to do more
psychokinetics.
We need to do more training so they can bring me donuts from Canada.
I'll see what I can do. I think they call that importing now. You may not get them. You'll just get the wrapper, okay?
Border Patrol would have a real issue with these flying donuts just flying across the border.
But yeah, in answer to that, yes, it is possible, but it takes an immense, one, amount of energy to do it, and two, immense control to be able to do it as well. And again, there's only two people on the team that can have that level of skill.
Mm-hmm. And Brent's not one of them.
No.
He's not to that level, but I've been on cases with Brent, Francie, and I've been talking to the client, and their animals are very aware that Brent is there.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
That's
that was
because-
going to be one of my other bonus questions.
Right,
Was
because cats and
animals
dogs,
and children.
Right. Well, so cats and dogs can see in the fourth dimension. So cats and dogs can actually see the astral team while they're walking around. I mean, we've had so many. I can't even tell you how many cases we've had where the client is telling us, I don't know what's going on, but there's something in the hallway because my dog's following them. And at the same time, I've got Tony or Brent or whoever's on the team going, let them know that their dog's following me down the hall. So if they see their dog,
Any more if we're on a case together, I tell them ahead of time, your animals might act up now, but it's okay.
Right. But yes, now with children won't necessarily see the team. Animals will. I don't think we've had any cases where children actually saw. They might have felt the team, but they couldn't see him.
Okay. So interesting.
So
I'm out of bonus questions.
no, that's fine. Kayla, what's your last question for the night?
Okay. So bringing up spirit boxes here. So that's basically just a bunch of electromagnetic pulses and different things that cause the spirit to be able to come into the box and speak through it, right?
Essentially, it's a very rapid. It's late. It's a rapid. It's scanning frequencies, making white noise essentially. So it depends on what kind of spirit box you're using.
Okay, so in that case, would a medium just be able to use their synapses in their brain and the electricity of that in order to tap into being able to hear spirits?
That's a good question.
Last question again?
Again for Keith.
Then would a medium just be able to use their synapses and the electricity in their brain in order to tap into being able to hear different spirits?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically the frequency, right?
Essentially correct.
So they just make themselves basically a giant spirit box.
Well, you try not to because you don't want to absorb the spirit because that gets really screwed up. Essentially correct. What you basically do is you tap into their frequency so you can hear them.
Okay.
Okay.
And that makes
now,
sense.
wouldn't that cause a person to have massive amounts of seizures and that type of thing then?
Oh, I don't know. The epilepsy caused a bigger problem for me than that does.
So that's also why your mediums need to pay a lot more attention to grounding and shielding. And that's why you have a lot of mediums that have a lot more issues when it comes to spirits. And not being able to stop them from talking.
True. So you got to be able to tune them out so that they don't bother you that much. I mean, I'm a working medium anyway.
Right.
And I will tell you, if you think the live people talk a lot, you should try the dead ones.
Well, they found somebody that could talk too.
Right.
Well, yes, I realize that is a lot of the problem.
Well, yeah. Watch Sixth Sense. Although he was dead, didn't know it. But, yeah. They gotta make another one.
If taking that into consideration, then would anybody be able to tap into that if they could figure it out and be able to contact or speak with spirits through their own brainwaves, basically, or synapses?
You know, again, it comes down to training. Anybody can be a medium. anybody can open up their psychic centers. It takes training.
Yeah, to do it safely, to do it accurately, it definitely you've got to either do it with training or a lot of on the job. Like
Right.
learning what you're doing is a royal pain in the neck. Trust me on this one.
I would have to interject too, though. You know, if you wanted the first step to start learning, I would say start learning how to meditate.
I absolutely agree there.
Because meditation is the key to astral. Meditation is also the key to being a medium.
You also don't have to be a medium to talk to him, because I talked to him and I've had a few good conversations and laughed it up with a few of them.
Right.
You know.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyone that wants to do astral, learn meditation. Learn how to master meditation. Everyone meditates differently. For me, for example, I can't meditate for crap. I can only get into that state for meditation, as funny as it sounds, through Native American drum music.
For me, it only took a little bit of meditation, I guess you could say, at first, but now it's like I'll just go anywhere whenever I want to, talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it freaks me out.
Okay, Brent, what's your next question?
Oh.
What are we talking about?
Off topic, I guess. Now, I've seen one, and others, well, I've experienced one, being a female, and seen one on TV, you know, but are all banshees women? Well, I guess you could say women.
You know, from folklore, yes, they are.
Okay.
Are they a certain age?
No.
No.
I'm trying to
And
remember.
are they fae?
It's part of the fae realm, yes, but banshees are nothing more than they're messengers of change. Usually, you know, a lot of people put the folklore with it that they're warning of impending death. But at the same time, it wasn't always a family member's death. It was also a sign of change.
So, like a transition of
Yeah.
some kind.
Exactly.
That's of a job.
Okay, Eric, I'm going to throw a new one at you. I'm sitting here next to Brent, but I'm going to ask him, how loud do they scream?
Oh, no. Yeah, that wasn't Brent that got screamed at. Brent just used pointy
No, I did hear it, though.
Brent used pointy sticks. And I don't think Joe's in the chat room anymore.
Well, he keeps using pointy sticks. Of course they're going to scream.
Right. It wasn't a banshee he was poking, though.
That's loud.
Wasn't quiet.
It was pretty loud.
I heard it while I was poking.
As to the age question,
Say again?
my mother-in-law, as for the age question, my mother-in-law just turned 60. She sounds like a banshee.
Hey now.
Okay, you're going to pay for that one later. And we'll
He has no idea.
So, are they attached to family lineages? Like, are they ancestrally attached? You know what I mean? Like, do they follow down in a family? Like, or are they just free agents?
I believe it. When you look at the folklore of it, it does has to do with the family, because you don't hear about banshees from everybody that's got a family member that's dying. So going off of that, if they were just free agents, you would think you'd hear a lot more banshee stories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they are Irish and I believe Scottish when it comes to lineage.
I like using the free agent term. Just imagining a banshee on LinkedIn.
The gig economy.
Right?
Banshee for hire.
But yeah, and we actually talked a lot about banshees in what was it, last month when we did our face show?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't recall that being said though. So,
No, we didn't. No, that's why the roundtables are always fun, because you never know what questions are going to come up.
True.
It's great. So, Cole, what's your last question for the night?
Confession. I don't have another question.
Oh, okay.
Where did we go to?
So,
I'm
Keith.
a bad monkey.
That's something.
What's that? Oh, confession.
I thought he
I thought he was going to tell some juicy confession or something.
I know.
Okay, Keith.
I mean, go that direction. I mean, I am a minister, but
So what's your last question tonight, Keith?
well, let's try the real weird one here. Just since we're all off kilter anyway.
Okay.
What's in my pocket?
A gold watch.
Your hand.
My precious.
What is in his pocket? What do you think it is?
Well, that was a question that came up in The Hobbit.
Oh. A silver goblet.
That's what I was thinking. Chain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did anyone hear about that? The FBI found a bunch of bodies sewn together like Frankenstein. Like a woman's head was attached to a guy's body.
Ew.
Okay, somebody's a little off kilter.
Well, and it was the medical facility. Like, these bodies were donated for medical research.
Huh.
They were just practicing their
Did somebody
stitches.
have to tell them that they brought Dr. Frankenstein back?
And
You'd
tripping
think the medical
is
community would have better
Come on in here.
a better hold on that.
tripping is saying lint.
No, I'm wondering if there's anything that anybody knows and I know you guys have the answer to this one, but with all that equipment you guys have, do you have anything designed to check biomagnetic fields on people? Something in the way of a what am I looking for? Kind of along the same lines as what an ohm meter does, where you can check, where you can gauge and train energy levels, energy level output on a biological field.
That's possible. I actually astrally X-ray people, and I can look thermally, I guess you could say, and I.
Just embedded equipment.
But other than that, physical equipment.
Well, literally speaking, what I'm looking at doing is finding a way that using biofeedback, I can actually deliberately generate, or more to the point, remind myself how to generate psychokinetic manipulation.
Oh.
Well, if you design one, let us test it for you.
Yeah, that's where I'm running into a problem. Me and electrical gear has never been very easy to design. Me and technology don't get along well.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to learn that, Keith. When are you doing classes?
When am I doing classes for what?
Where you just said what you did. Don't ask me to repeat those words.
Well,
You
first
can-
I got to find myself how to pull it off.
Bring your blueprints with you.
Okay, that I can do. Although, if you're expecting me to have the exact specs down, we'll scrap that thought before we get started.
We'll MacGyver the heck out of that.
We'll see if we can find someone that can put some of that together.
Okay, that works.
So yeah, bring your blueprints with you.
We need a toothpick, Paperclip and a stick of gum.
Okay, got it.
We can make this happen.
Let's not forget the bottle of rye.
Well, that's just a given.
And if there was a machine that could do this, Keith, what would you use it for? What would be the main purpose to use it for?
For me to regain control over something that I've got memories I used to do.
Oh.
I simply desire to bring the metaphysical world into the physical one. But I'm not about to test it on anybody else or give it to anybody else until such time as I know not only how it works, but the ramifications of getting it to work.
Well, and if you did get it to work, there are many medical benefits, like not just benefits, scientific benefits all over the scientific community that would come from that.
There is, but there's one drawback to the whole thing, and this is why I won't turn it over to anybody. The drawback to it is that some genius out there will try and figure out how to turn it into a weapon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yes, we can bring in spirits to attack such and such. And
I was actually thinking of psychocellular, what's the word I'm looking for? Psychocellular disincorporation, a.k.a. you look at somebody and cause the molecular superstructure that holds them together to come apart.
Right.
You want to take it to the ultimate level. But I'm simply looking for something a little more practical, like being able to reach my coffee cup without having to get out of off the chair.
Yeah.
So like a Star Trek transporter.
No, I'm talking telekinetics, literally.
Oh, okay, telekinetically.
I mean, I'll take the transporter any day. That's easy.
Right.
Yeah, something that actually opens up your refrigerator door, pulls the beer out of the shelf, and brings it to your hand.
See, I do have a first generation teleporter.
I had a friend who had a dog that did that.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Well, I have kids that do that, not with beer, but with
coffee. Snap.
Because I don't drink beer.
Hence why I said bring the rye.
Yeah, but they can get my coffee for me. Yep, Trip, get out of my head. So Trip's in the chat room. He says, "Would that be call a kid?" Oh, yeah. In my case,
we call them minions over here.
Right.
Someone becomes Jeff Foxworthy, the word sensuous. Sensuous up, give me a beer.
So we're getting down to the last 15 minutes of the show. So let's go over some stuff real quick. So next week we're actually going to be talking paranormal emergencies and protection. Chris's favorite topic. So we're gonna be going really in depth with what paranormal emergencies are, what they constitute, and why are there? Because we did something similar a couple months ago with FMP on the show, but I want to talk about why are there paranormal emergencies, and how do you mitigate them. And we're going to go a lot more in depth with protection. And Chris, this is where you're going to come in.
Okay.
And again, August is going to be Paranormal Teen Month, minus August 10th. Because if you're local, I expect you to be at the Skagit County Fair to come see us at the FMP booth. And then, August 17th, we're deviating a little bit, but we may change up the topic. But August 17th is going to be Paranormal Highways. We're going to talk about Route 66, Extraterrestrial Highway, and are these considered hotspots? Or is it just something that builds up your psyche? You think of Route 66, you think of Extraterrestrial Highway. Do they just name these because people expect to see an alien on Extraterrestrial Highway? or people expect to see a ghost because it's Route 66 because it's old, or are they actual hotspots? And then on the 24th, what does it take to be a good paranormal investigator? Should there be schooling involved? Can anyone be a paranormal investigator? And we kind of talked about this a little bit in the beginning of the show tonight. But anyone can be a good paranormal investigator. It really comes down to what's your motivation. Why do you want to do it? Do you want to do it because you want to get freaked out? That's the wrong reason. Do you do it because you want to help people? That's the right reason. But are you really going to help anyone? Or are you just there to get that cool picture? That's what it boils down to. You're not helping anybody, just getting a cool picture. And then Roundtable. So Roundtable next month is going to be completely different people. People that I've never talked to. People that have never been on this show. And they're going to be representative of several different paranormal teams. And what questions do they have? And we're just going to pick apart the paranormal. Because I think it needs to be done. And of course, coming up in September, we have Paracon.
Yeah, woohoo!
The highlight of the year for this team. And for, Keith and Dave and Mike and Jason, and it's going to be a blast. So, it's not the Paracon show, but the schedule is different this year. Because this year we've added an extra feature. So, the Friday before Paracon, we always have our private Paracon speaker barbecue, followed by Paracon on that Saturday with the VIP Q&A panel. And then the Sunday morning after Paracon, we're having the speakers breakfast at Cole's house. And Cole and Kayla are going to have a blast.
And it's going to be a Bigfoot breakfast.
I
promise.
For real?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, We're eating him. No. We're going to have like 4 different types of breakfast meats. We're going to have pancakes. We're going to have toast. We're going to have biscuits. We're going to have everything.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Francie's coming now.
Absolutely. You are welcome to come, Francie. Come on down.
So, you know what? Trippin's got a question. And whatever came about a manual for the steps to proper investigations. That might be, and I know we talked about this and we planned something like this 2 years ago. I think it was a couple of years ago that we actually discussed this. And we'll see what happens. In 2020, we might actually develop something like that. But I think the problem I have with that is, who am I, or who is anybody, to have a manual for proper investigation? What dictates a proper investigation? For me, is the outcome. I'm not here to get a perfect picture. I've seen spirits. I've seen malevolent entities. I don't need a picture of them.
We prefer selfies.
Right? The final outcome for me is the family, is the client, is the business, who finally has their home, their business, the property back, and they're not scared anymore. Okay, so long ago when we were all talking about this, it was in discussion format, and then life happened, and in some cases drama happened, and it never happened. It can still happen, though. I think what it boils down to is I like to get the input of several different people, several different teams, and how they perform, and get it all written into one book. One book that a lot of people can agree with, which in this field is hard to get anybody to agree on anything. because we do it the right way. Well, what's the right way look like? For me, again, the right way means the client's got their home back. For other people, the right way is because they got a cool picture and a cool EVP. Or, well, fill in the blank.
And you have to remember, too, that I was on my first boots on ground doing protection. And when you do boots on ground, it is way different than how we handle clients with Astral. So we're one of the teams that actually incorporates and has Astral, and a lot of the teams don't. So a manual wouldn't be tough, and it wouldn't be undoable. We could do it, but it would be in depth because we do that much more extra.
Right. And the other teams, you won't find any other teams that I found anyway that have an extended care team. That is in addition to what we do. You know.
That's where the rubber meets the road, frankly.
It is. It is. Because you can go in and you can clear the house or the business, remove the problem, but without the education piece to it and without the empowerment piece to it, another spirit or another malevolent entity can come right back in.
And it's a process of boots on ground, because I had to wait until the rest of the team was done before I could do my part. So it's basically 2 parts to any case.
Right. Exactly. So anyone got any last minute words they want to throw in before we wrap up the show?
Thanks for coming.
As usual, there won't be a show at during Paracon, but watch the S4 Facebook page as we will be going live throughout the day.
Exactly. And
We're going to
actually,
do it.
you know what? We might do that a little bit at the fair too.
Mm-hmm.
If we have the right, if we have connection and whatnot, we might.
Oh, they got Wi-Fi.
Okay, good. So we will be doing some Facebook living from the fair, from the booth as well.
Cool. I'll watch from Idaho.
Excellent.
And I think Tripp should come to Paracon so we can meet him too.
He needs to.
Yeah, yes.
So, I lost my train of thought. I hate it when that happens. So Trippin says only Facebook. I'd love to do YouTube live and things like that, because I think that's where you're thinking. We'll see. We'll see what means we can do it on. But yeah, for any new listeners tonight, by all means, if you have any kind of paranormal issues, if you just want to jump into the group and share your pictures, share your videos, share your news, look for Forest Moon Paranormal on Facebook and jump into the group. And S4, we have a Facebook page. We have a website, s-4radio.com. So, we have many different ways you can link up with us and what we do. So I want to thank the team tonight. Cole Wegleitner, our technical analyst. Kayla Wegleitner, one of our research specialists and junior team leader. Francie Miller, our team psych therapist. Chris and Brent Dodge from the FMP Extended Care and Astral team. And R. Keith Andrews, our alien race specialist. So stay tuned.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, it's always fun, isn't it? So,
right.
Until next week, have a safe week. And watch for us on the group.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com.
or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.